Everybody, this is Bill with the Bill Heenan Real Estate Team over at William Ravis. And today I am super excited to be standing in my new YouTube content studio, my team's new YouTube content studio. We hope, and I hope, to pump out a lot of content in the coming days, weeks, and months. As I said in my last video, that is our intention. And our new offices here at Four Corners in East Lyme, Connecticut, more specifically 132 Boston Post Road. So if you see our cars out there, feel free to stop in and say hello. Today I wanted to focus on one of the reports that we like to highlight when we're working with a buyer who's wrestling with the idea of whether to rent or to own. Now we know that it's 99% of the time always better to own, especially when I review the 4 equity points that we include in what we call our future home equity and investment report. And this report basically looks at the 4 equity points that appreciate as you own your home. And we like to look at it in a couple different ways, schedules. Like you can look at it a 1-year schedule, you can look at it a 3-year schedule, but we like to look at it a 5-year schedule because that's about the average time that people own their home in our area, between 5 and 7 years these days. So after 5 years, you'll be surprised how high that equity gets to be. And the 4 equity points are these: principal pay down, tax savings, market appreciation, and the wild card, upgrades to your home that you would do if you owned, but you would never do if you rented. The mindset of looking at this report is, I have to pay to live somewhere. That being said, if you're living in your parents' basement for free, or if Uncle Jimmy is renting you a house for $1,000 a month that you would typically be paying $3,000 a month, you might be better off staying in Uncle Jimmy's house and taking that $2,000 savings and putting it in your investment portfolio, your 401k, or your self-employment pension fund. Most of us don't have that advantage. Most of us aren't fortunate enough to have that scenario. I know I certainly didn't. We need to pay to live somewhere. Now, the next counterpoint might be, well, it's going to be cheaper to rent than it is to buy it. Absolutely not. Not in our marketplace. The price point that we're going to use in the purchase is $450,000 with 20% down. We're going to do a 20% down scenario. So now let's think about that. If I was renting a house that was valued at about $450,000, that would be about 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 16, 17, 1,800 square feet. And I would be renting that between $3,000 and $3,500 a month, hands down. We just rented one in Niantic the other day, $3,000 a month. I think it was 1,600 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, no basement, no garage. So that's the rental market value. Now, if you were to finance that house for $450,000 at a 7% interest rate on a 30-year schedule, with 20% down, your mortgage payment would be, I'm going to use my cheater sheet here, $3,045 a month. And that's actually a high guesstimate because I overstate the taxes and I overstate the insurance. But even with that overstatement, it's still less than rented. $3,045 a month versus $3,000, $3,200, $3,400 for the same house in the rental market. Now, the 4 equity points. If you own the home, in the first 5 years, you will pay down that principal $22,000 in that 5 years. Now, it doesn't feel like a lot when you're doing it. $300, $400, $500 a month. I think towards the back end of the schedule, it might start to touch $600 a month. But over time, it really starts to hit the principal. And one day you wake up after 5 years and you say, oh boy, I paid $22,000 down on that principal. And by the way, it's probably worth more too, but we'll get into that in the next video. And that's where we're going to go from here. I'm going to call it quits on the principal pay down of our future home equity and investment report. And my next video, which will come out in the next day or two, will focus on the next equity point, which is tax savings. And then we'll move on from there. But if you have any questions in the meantime, you could always hit that subscribe button on the bottom of your screen, and then you will be alerted to the next video that I pump out about tax savings. You can always reach out to us on our website at www.thebillheenanteam.net. or call me directly on my cell phone at 860-460-8053. Or one last option we have these days, feel free to stop by our office at 132 Boston Post Road in East Lyme, Connecticut. We always look forward to seeing you.